Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do our April the 20th just for today in a meditation. I hope you're doing well this morning. It's good to be with you. Let's go ahead and get into the meditation. The title of the meditation for today is Detachment. Detachment. Addiction is a family disease, but we could only change ourselves. Many of us come from severely damaged families. At times, the insanity that reigns among our relatives feels overwhelming. Sometimes we feel like packing our bags and moving far, far away. We pray that our family members will join us in recovery, but to our great sadness, this does not always happen. Sometimes, despite our best efforts to carry the message, we find that we cannot help those we hold most dear. Our group experience has taught us that frequently we are too close to our relatives to help them. We learn it is better to leave them in our higher powers' care. We have found that when we stop trying to settle the problems of family members, we give them the room they need to work things out in their own lives. By reminding them that we are not able to solve their problems for them, we give ourselves the freedom to live our own lives. We have faith that God will help our relatives. Often, the best thing we can give our loved ones is the example of our own ongoing recovery. For the sake of our family's sanity and our own, we must let our relatives find their own ways to recover. Just for today, I will seek to work my own program and leave my family in the care of a higher power. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. This is a marvelous meditation. There's an author by the name of Melody Beattie, um, and she writes books on codependency. Her daily meditation book that I really love is called Letting Go, The Language of Letting Go. And not trying to promote her or anything like that, but just thinking about this term, detachment. That's a topic that she writes about quite frequently. I was introduced to it as a very young person, and I enjoyed what I learned. I learned that it was absolutely okay to allow other people to operate without becoming totally enmeshed or enmeshed at all in their lives. That it did not mean that I didn't love them. It did not mean that I didn't care. It did not mean that I hated them. That was a big one for me. I thought that I needed to attach myself to everything, everybody, whatever their situations were. I wanted to pass through them in the spirit of pseudo love. I say pseudo love because I truly would be so angry sometimes, so hateful sometimes, so resentful sometimes with the very individual or situation that I call myself loving them through. I realized that I was very conflicted because I wasn't thinking or feeling very loving at all. And I was acting as if their success meant my success. Their Overcoming their issue meant I overcame my issue. And I would pour all of my energy into people and their situations. I was so enmeshed that it was very difficult for me to detach myself and understand that it didn't reflect on me. The situation reflected on them and their actions. It didn't reflect on me if I helped them or if I didn't. It was like making a donation to St. Jude's Hospital. They don't know me, but when it comes up on the cashier register, for certainty, I'm going to donate or round up to the next dollar because I appreciate their cause, right? That they help children, and sometimes they help them without expecting any payment at all for cancer, right? I appreciate the cause and I make a donation. What they do with what I donate is not my business. It is a donation. And so, what I'm saying to correlate this to this meditation, situations that are occurring outside of myself with other people, I wouldn't say that they don't know me, but their problem isn't my problem. So, in that sense, we don't know each other that way. I can make a donation in kind of a prayer, of financial resource if I so choose to, without expecting anything back in return, because they're usually in such a destitute situation, they don't have anything to give. And whether it be intentional or unintentional, they are takers, right? They're takers of time, they're takers of love, they're takers of energy, and they don't have anything, not one iota, to return to the individual that is investing in them. So when I give my time, my energy, my money, my thoughts, my prayers, it's a donation. I don't expect anything back. I don't even expect for them to land on their feet, because 9 times out of 10, they're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And they're not going to get what I have without surrendering their will to the will of the God of their own understanding. Hopefully, they have one, right? And so, this meditation is concentrating on detaching ourselves from loved ones, family members that are using, or they have it, they can be using in different ways. But it is mostly talking about those family members we want to stop using drugs, that have not, that we are investing not only time, energy, but sometimes money to keep them afloat. When we do that, let's be careful, because a lot of times we're in the way. We're trying to carry the addict instead of carrying the message. We're carrying the addict in their mess instead of our recovering addict's message. And we don't want to continue to do that. You know why? Because we're now in the way of hopefully a bottom that will create the gift of desperation. You know, I've had to detach from family members, and I can tell you the truth as I sit here reminiscing when I decided to detach, right? Dropping off packages of cigarettes and water and money and bus fare to, you know, the facilities that they were staying in, care packages. I can't tell you how much money I have spent on care packages for relatives in prison, right? And so I realized I need to detach because I wasn't doing it out of a right spirit. I wasn't doing the right thing for the right reason. In fact, I was very angry and very resentful that after decades, these particular family members still had not grown up to the point where they could take care of themselves, that they were abusing and taking advantage of and leaning on not only myself, but, you know, my mother, my grandmother. Oh, I was very, very resentful. And I would choose to do those things regardless, knowing that my spirit wasn't right, right? I would do it regardless because I wanted to spare my elders from having to be exposed to the dangerousness of a using addict. I didn't want to read about my mother being hurt in the paper or my grandmother being hurt in the paper because they refused to help. They refused to give someone an opportunity to lay down on a couch or to bathe or to shower or to eat something. Because you know as well as I do that as using addicts, we will take what we want if you do not give it to us. And so I call myself being helpful, but I wasn't doing the right thing for the right reason. It's not like I was doing service to Narcotics Anonymous, right? And so when I detached myself, I went through a grieving period, and I feel like I need to say that to you. I need to say that to you because some of us are still attached to our children, attached to our cousins, our relatives, our moms. Um, I talked to a gentleman not too long ago in recovery. And you know what? He had, I don't know how, he was celebrating clean time. And he refuses, absolutely refuses to detach himself from his using father and his using father's abusive behavior. He just takes it. And he's been taking it since he was a little boy. And he does not see how he can um, have a good conscience in separating himself from someone that is using and abusive, that is his elder. He will not stop. And so my constant prayer in those situations is that it doesn't drive you into a corner. Keep sharing, right? Honestly, about what you're passing through, because I don't want it to drive you into a corner you can't get out clean. So, what I need to say in closing is that most of us have someone that we need to detach from. And they might be in your front room on your couch right now. They might be sleeping in the room within your home that you're paying the mortgage or rent for. They might be expecting for you to take something out of your bank account to be able to help them. And all I'm saying is that we need to detach because we're stopping them from reaching their bottom and we're stopping them from having the gift of desperation. We are in the way. Honestly, we're in the way. That first no that you say and you really mean it, and you begin to not accept phone calls or drive-bys and drop-bys is going to hurt. That's what I really want to tell you, is that it's going to hurt. It's going to feel like abandonment. It's going to be very, very painful. You might shed some tears, men and women both. You might shed some tears in this process of detachment. But I guarantee you, if you look back at your own act of addiction and all of the family members that you took absolute advantage of over and over and over and over and over again. Why do you think it's going to be any different with this person? I thought it was going to be different because I'm so spiritual. I've got this program. I understand it. I've worked my steps. You can't be in my presence and or receive my help and not get better. I really thought more of myself than I should have. I really thought that my influence, my interaction, my support, my dying support, right? Really, it was undying support, but it never ended, right? But it was killing me. So I call it dying support. I really actually thought that I had enough power and enough love to cause these individuals to change. One was so hard for me because I knew the instant I stopped, they were going to start bothering my elders. But I stopped because my spirit wasn't right. It wasn't even 2 months. And this particular loved one was shot down in the streets. But that's just one. Sugar, I got so many I could tell you about. And sometimes when I'm in the comfort of my home, thinking about my loved ones that are freezing, sleeping under benches and trying to figure out how they can create a tent in the woods. When I think about their suffering, it kills me. But today, I have to remember I have a relationship with my higher power. My higher power got me to recovery. My higher power will not take me anywhere. My higher power cannot keep me. It is my job not to go into dungeons. It's my job, dungeons, right? It's my job not to go into dungeons. It's my job not to go into the den. It's my job not to go into those places or deal with those people. I'm not talking about those people in a negative sense. I'm talking about going in wet places, trap houses, right? Come on now. Don't get stuck on words. I'm talking about it's my job to participate in my recovery and not go into those places that I know doggone well would be a trigger or is a dangerous setting. So if I think that, do I also not think that bringing it into my home is a problem? So we don't go into those places, but we don't mind letting using addicts just take up space in our crib. For no, come on. And even as difficult as it is, it feels a heck of a lot more right and proper and spiritual than what I was doing, because all I was doing, listen to this word, and I end with this, was enabling them to continue their act of addiction. So people that are enablers usually don't understand that they are until someone tells them. How are they going to get better if you just keep catching their fall? You keep breaking their fall. If you keep being the net that they fall onto, how are they ever going to reach the bottom? Get out the way. Yeah, I had to have someone tell me, get out the way. You coming in here sharing about the same thing over and over, how mad you are about this relative, that relative. Why do you keep on trying to help? Get out the way. Live your best life. Live your recovery. Participate in your own recovery and turn them over to the same higher power you turn all your other stuff over to. Now that's faith. And it's a heck of a lot less arrogant than trying to be God in somebody else's life. Listen, family, I could go on this topic forever and a day. I really could. I've hit 20 minutes or so. I could go on forever talking about the process of detachment and how it is painful, but it is highly necessary. And if you have faith that your higher power will also take care of those individuals, those loved ones, those family members you're worried about. Listen, I want for you to have a beautiful day on purpose. I want you to have a 5-star day. How about that? On purpose, no matter what comes your way. I know you can do it. My name is Mighty Stream, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.